You know the drill. Get to the work site, put up your ladder, do the job. No problem. You've done this for years. But even if you're very experienced, if you don't take the proper safety precautions, a simple job can turn into a nightmare. This time, our worker let the wire fall beneath minimum road clearance, just for a minute. Don't let something like this ever happen to you. Sometimes it's the little things we forget that come back to haunt us. Did you ever leave your work gloves on the front seat and then paid for your mistake later on with some pinched fingers? Did you ever put your ladder up against a pole and not tie it off? Did you ever secure your ladder at the base using only the ladder rope and not a ladder mate or hand line? Did you ever stretch for something that you knew was a little too far away to reach safely? The little things do catch up with us sometimes. In a 3-year period from 1990 to 1993, at NYNEX New York alone, workers suffered 691 serious accidents involving ladders. 354 were hurt while carrying a ladder. 225 accidents happened while climbing or descending. 112 were hurt while maneuvering on ladders. Ladder safety. Protect yourself, protect your family. Take every step.
Ladders are very basic work tools. They may be easy to use in theory, but not always in practice.
This safety awareness module is a means of reviewing the correct use of all ladders used at NYNEX.
In our work, we use extension ladders, section ladders, step ladders, and other types of ladders for special applications.
All ladders used at NYNEX are rated Industrial Class 1A. That's the highest rating given by the American National Standards Institute.
There are 2 types of extension ladders, wood and fiberglass. The most common sizes are 24-foot and 28-foot.
Both models have retractable hooks and spring locks, shackles, combination feet, fly sections, pulleys, and pulley ropes. There are a number of accessories and attachments that make our jobs easier and safer. The ladder leveling wedge provides level footing on uneven surfaces. The ladder mate can be used instead of a hand line for securing a ladder. There are a few different models of ladder mates in use at NYNEX. They attach to the ladder differently, but they all use the same basic method of securing the ladder to a pole. The ladder platform and the ladder step help to reduce fatigue when you're working at the same height for a long time. The ladder sling clamps to a strand to support the upper end of your ladder. Our section ladders have reinforced fiberglass side rails and corrugated aluminum rungs. A push-out shelf is available. Section ladders come in 3-foot and 6-foot sections. The 3-foot section comes equipped with a combination foot.
Step ladders come with or without a pail shelf and are available in a range of sizes.
There are a number of other ladders for use in specialized applications. Rolling ladders are designed for use in telephone central offices. Manhole ladders are steel with skid-resistant rungs. They're used for permanent installations in manholes.
All ladder-related equipment used in New York Telephone is the best quality available. But good safety conditions require more than good equipment. Proper inspection and handling will complete the picture. All ladders should be inspected before you use them. Look for any loose, broken, or defective parts. In addition to this, more extensive testing is periodically done by professional services.
There are lots of wrong ways to unload a ladder from a vehicle. But there's only one right way. First, lower the base of the ladder onto the ground. Stand at the side of the vehicle, facing the base. Bend your knees slightly. Then fit the side rail against your shoulder. Lift the ladder by straightening your knees. Readjust the ladder until it feels balanced. Always carry your ladder in a retracted position with the strand hooks turned in. The base should be down and to the front. Make sure your arms aren't between the side rails. Another method for carrying your ladder is to pick it up from the middle and balance it. When you're placing a ladder on a vehicle, make sure the locking clamps are in a fully opened position. Lay the ladder against the fixed upright of the ladder rack assembly. Raise the base of the ladder onto the rack and secure it with the clamps. When you start work each day, safety is probably not the first thing on your mind. You're more apt to be thinking about getting home to your family, going to a friend's house later on, or those tickets you have to the ball game. Sometimes even the most experienced workers get distracted and make a mistake. Even if you've been replacing drop wires for years, someday you might forget to plan your job carefully because you have other things on your mind. You might forget that you should never release tension at the strand. It should always be released at the house. You might not secure yourself to the strand at the top of the ladder because you only plan on being up for a minute. It's those kinds of mistakes you have to avoid because you might only get the chance to make them once.
Ladders are usually involved when working with strand. Before you raise a ladder to a strand, always test it first. Inspect the poles at each end of the span. If there's no power present, pass a hand line over the strand at the point where you'll be placing the ladder. If there is power above the strand, place the hand line over the strand with a wire raising tool. Grasp both ends of the hand line and gradually apply full weight by slowly lifting yourself off the ground.
If you need to raise or lower a ladder to the middle of a strand, place your foot against the base of a side rail to steady it. Use one hand to pull the rope and the other hand to lift the run of the fly section. Extend the fly section 1 or 2 runs at a time and engage the lock after each pull. After the fly section is beyond reach, steady the ladder by holding the side rail. Extend the ladder until the hooks are approximately 6 inches above the strand. When it's in place, secure the ladder rope. To lower the ladder, reverse the procedure. We're all used to working with strand, but don't ever lose sight of the hazards involved. Take all the precautions you can.
Poor or improper footing is one of the most common causes of ladder-related accidents.
Before you climb a ladder, look up to be aware of obstructions. When you're ascending or descending, always hold the side rails, never the rungs. Take one step at a time and always wear a shoe with a well-defined heel. If this sounds obvious to you, remember, almost 1/3 of all ladder accidents in the last 3 years happened while workers were climbing up or down their ladders. Both ladder feet should be on the same level. If necessary, use the ladder foot or the ladder leveling wedge. These both help to provide level footing on uneven surfaces.
Ladders placed at the wrong angle could put you in a very hazardous situation. To use the fireman's method for checking the angle, place your toes against the base of the ladder. Then extend both arms to the side of the rails, parallel to the ground. If you stand straight, you should be able to grasp the rails with your fingers touching the rear of the rail.
On an extension ladder, the highest rung you should ever stand on is the 4th from the top. Always remember your reaching limit on an unsecured ladder. Never lean to the side so far that your outside shoulder is more than 12 inches beyond the side rail.
If you're working at a pole, all extension ladders need to be secured at the base. To secure your ladder using a ladder mate, first secure the ladder mate to the side rail of the ladder. Wrap it around the pole 1.5 times. Then secure it to the other side rail. Pull both straps at the same time with equal force.
With a properly installed ladder mate, this ladder is not going anywhere.
If a ladder mate is not available, you can secure your ladder at the base using a hand line. If you need instruction for this procedure, ask your foreman. If your ladder is not equipped with a V-rung, you have to lash it to the top of the pole using a hand line or length of rope. Again, if you need instruction for this procedure, talk to your foreman. Once your ladder is properly placed and lashed, the last step for safety is to secure yourself.
With your strand hooks over the strand, pass your safety strap around the strand, one side rail, in between 2 rungs, then secure it to the D-ring on your body belt. If you've followed all the safety steps up to this point, you're secure and ready to go to work. Don't ever skip a safety step. Remember, it's for your protection.
If you want to hurt yourself when you're working at a pole, here are some ways to do it. Don't extend the fly section and don't take advantage of the security your V-rung gives you. Tie your ladder off with a ladder rope. Don't use a ladder mate or hand line. Don't check to see that your ladder feet are level and that the ground is solid beneath them. Convince yourself that there's too much brush or shrubbery in the way at the bottom of the pole and that you're in too much of a hurry to make your ladder safe. These excuses can come back to haunt you.
Some work sites don't have enough room for you to use an extension ladder. In these tight spots, a section ladder is the best choice.
As any of you who work in highly populated urban areas know, many backyards can only be accessed by going through basements or private homes. Section ladders are much easier to maneuver through tight spaces. Plant is often mounted on hard-to-get-to locations such as rear walls. The multiple pieces of a section ladder provide flexibility and allow you to customize the length and configuration. Remember to always use the 3-foot section on the bottom. Sometimes the only way to reach the work site is by lowering your section ladder from a roof. Doing this with an extension ladder would be difficult and dangerous. Section ladders don't have strand hooks, so when you're working on strand or poles, always tie in. Against strand, make sure the ladder extends at least 2 rungs above it. Lash to the strand using your hand line. Check with your foreman if you need instructions.
Never use more than 3 6-foot sections with a 3-foot bottom section and a push-out in an assembly. The 2 adjacent rungs of the assembled sections and push-out must be secured with clove hitch ties or ladder straps as the sections are assembled. The tensioning knob is a new device for securing ladder sections together. You can use this in place of ties. An assembled section ladder should only be moved in a vertical position.
The highest working step on stepladders 4 feet and under is the first step from the top. For ladders over 4 feet, it's the second step from the top. Never lean to the side so far that your outside shoulder is more than 12 inches beyond the side rail.
If you're positioning a step ladder when pulling inside wire or cable, place the ladder with the steps opposite the direction of the pulling force. Before using a rolling ladder, look up for loose objects and check to see if another person might be standing near the top, partially out of sight. If you have to move the ladder, be careful not to hit obstructions or equipment. After you've moved your ladder to the work location, chock the wheels on the side closest to where you'll be facing. To place a ladder seat, tilt the seat into the rung, lock it in place, and test it to make sure it's secure. When getting on or off the seat, maintain your balance so that you don't tilt the ladder. Before using a manhole ladder, make sure that it's securely in place and that the bottom is resting on the manhole floor. Accidents like these happen to experienced workers every day. One little mistake can ruin your life.
The safety practices that you've seen on this video today have been designed for your maximum safety while working on ladders. Whether it's in a manhole, a loft, in a central office, or in a backyard. Remember, there's really nothing more important than your safety. Protect yourself. Take every step, but take it carefully.